CET meeting that you've had, and my first. So I'm going to start with just introducing myself. My name is Robert Burns. I'm coming to you from School 9. School 9 is one of the first community schools in the district, and I was able to help get them on board. I wasn't the coordinator myself, but I was the one that hired the coordinator over there, and we worked together to kind of get them up and running. So I'm happy to be here and joining you, and I'll just go.
Hi, I'm Kelli Briggs. I'm no stranger to some of you all here in Plymouth Logic, but I'm the director of community schools, and glad to be here continuing to work with School 16.
Oh, sorry. John Lang, in the Schools Committee and Volunteers, School 16.
And how do you spell your last name? L-A-N-G-E?
L-A-I-N-G.
Okay.
Lee Wingo, assistant principal.
Michelle Michael, intervention teacher.
Jennifer Osborne, intervention.
John Boutte, Southwest Common Council, and 19th Ward Schools Committee also.
Great.
Did I spell your names right? I'm just trying to make sure I know.
Michael.
No, Michael is wrong, Lang is wrong.
Did I spell Michelle right?
Michelle is right,
Okay.
so spell it exactly the same way without the E on the end.
Okay, that's what it was.
We need to add an A in my name.
L-A?
L-A-N-G.
L-A-I.
L-A-I. Okay. N-G. And Boutte, is it T-T-E?
T-T-T-E-T.
T-E-T. Okay. All right.
Well, I was able to follow up on the last meeting from your YouTube video.
Okay, good.
I just kind of went through with some school updates. So I was going to have Mr. Wingo give you guys the updates on what actually happened in the aftermath of the district layoffs.
So, after all of our shake-ups and shakedowns and callbacks and displacements, we received 2 new teachers. Well, they weren't new to the district. They were veteran teachers. We lost 2 teachers. We lost a kindergarten teacher and a first grade teacher. We received a kindergarten teacher, Miss Ride, from the Monetary School. She was displaced. And a Miss Edwards from school number 9, who was displaced. We were also true up from a classroom, so we went from 3 5th grade classrooms to 2 5th grade classrooms, with the students being absorbed into the other 2 5th grade classrooms, and the teacher who was teaching that 3rd 5th grade moved up to the 6th grade classroom, where we had a teacher who was reduced and forced. So other than that, we lost 1 intervention teacher, and our intervention teacher was called back, and we kept our reading teacher. So all in all, the hit to the building, we lost 1 intervention teacher, and the other positions have been filled.
How many kids in the 2 5th grade classes?
Now we have
26 and 25, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
So next, I just was going to have Mr. Wingo review our level 1 and level 2 indicators, just to tell us the difference of what they are and where we're going with those.
So currently we have a receivership quarterly review that's due on February 7th, which we will update all of our indicators. Our level 1 indicators are indicators that the state has chosen for us to, we have to meet a certain, I call it a benchmark, to gain points to get off receivership. Our level 2 indicators are indicators that we have chosen that we will attack to make progress to gain points to get off of receivership. As of right now, we've met all but 1, I believe, level, as we currently sit right now, we've met all but 1 level 1 indicator, and we are currently hitting on all cylinders with our level 2 indicators. So we're in good shape as of, we looked at the state came in on Friday, anybody remember the date?
9th. Wasn't it the 9th? I think a week we came back, right?
It was the week we came back, yep.
10th, sorry.
So the New York State came for a visit on January 10th. Everything went well, and New York State will be back with us to visit to do a more comprehensive review of where we are and as far as our level indicators, and they will be back sometime in March.
What's the one we missed?
Currently, we are behind in attendance, our chronic attendance.
Wow, the control with that. It's not come out right.
When we have to catch up.
We have an attendance team that we meet every week, and we address all of the students who are chronically absent. It's a double-edged sword because as of right now, we're not meeting the indicator, but we're making some good strides with students who have been chronically absent and putting into place and reaching out to families. So hopefully we can minimize their absences and keep them under 18, because once they reach the 18th absent,
That's a full year.
they're chronically absent for the full year. And I believe our magic number is, I can't say it offhand because I'm just thinking. So I don't want to give out any false numbers. But we're progressing in the right direction. We just currently, right now, are behind a few percentage points.
So I know last time you guys spoke about what your CE team, what the CE team is, and you two gentlemen are no strangers to what's happening. I know you're on a couple other teams and committees. So really what we need to do here is build our team up. We need some more community members, parents really to start to join us and be part of the voice in doing this, so we have a shared governance as we move forward. So I'll be looking for, any
There's two
suggestions.
It was Kathy King, my wife, and Jay Ross, but Jay Ross is away for a month or so.
Okay.
And they're part of the team.
Yeah.
So, anytime you guys think of somebody that you think would be a great fit for us, please shoot me a message with a name and contact so I can reach out to them and give them an invite.
Okay. We've got a meeting tomorrow at the Southwest Common Council Education Committee, so we'll see if we have any people from the area that come in and let them know you're looking for some more people on the team. Have you been able to get a hold of folks at the Y there about they were looking at getting...
Yes, I received the email.
Jordana?
Yes.
Jordana.
So, that came across my desk to reach out to her, and that was definitely going to be someone to
Okay.
invite over.
Yeah, that would be great if we could get one of those folks involved, because I think it would be good to get the Y in the loop here.
Yeah, so I want to establish a partnership with them and see what they can bring to us and offer our children too.
Yeah, because the thing that had struck me is, gee, if we can get them in, putting on some programs here, that invites parents in to maybe they drop off their kids and go for a yoga class, and then they get involved in volunteering. It's,
Oh yeah. I know some of the other schools. So with my background, I did a lot with the expanded learning programs throughout the district. So we created great partnerships with the YMCA where students would actually go over there in the middle of the day, and teachers would have some, time to collaborate and really focus in on their data and where they're moving. I know money's a little bit of an issue right now because we won't be able to get that transportation piece in, But, looking down the road in the future, it could be something we could absolutely establish. So that would be, that's a fantastic program. It's right down the street.
Yeah.
So, would you want to chime in on
And then just with the CET, this sheet came out small. Make sure you get a better copy, but I have it up here too. Just wanted to, I know your last meeting you all did discuss about what the CET team is. I just like to take this time just to kind of go through it quickly. If you all can kind of breeze through it, I just want to, make sure, and I'm sure you all understand, but to just reiterate how important it is, the CET team and the needs assessment that your community school will have to put together, with Mr. Burns leading the work, but the whole CET team working together to help him with putting that document together, because it will be the community school work here in this building. There's surveys and different, aspects to the needs assessment, but the first step is this community engagement team, because you all, will help with deciding what surveys, how you're going to do the surveys, interpreting the data, putting that needs assessment, and also getting, and I think it's awesome how you already have community members here, but getting that word out in the community with the parents and really helping administration here with, getting out of receivership, like Mr. Wingo mentioned earlier, the indicators. This CET team is a big part of that. Making sure that once you get your data and you analyze it, that, you're getting the right services, if there's some partnerships you need, whatever you need to help you with that, this team is a vital part to that. And, later on when we talk about needs assessments, I do have some examples for you all to look at, just so you can get a feel for what the needs assessment looks like. But if you see there on the second section there, where it says who are the key required members of the community engagement team, you have your staff. In some schools, and it is important, we often forget about trying to have students, because we want to make sure we get that student voice. One of the CET teams I went to, and I try to get to every school CET team, just so I can see if I can be a resource for you. One of the schools I went to, they had the students come. They held this particular one towards the end of the day. And the students came in the meeting. This was another elementary school. And they said, well, in the cafeteria, we really want a microwave, because a lot of us don't eat the school lunches. And when you have the staff microwave, you have to get a teacher who's not mad at you or one that you're in good standing with to warm up the food for you, but that takes a long time. We're only having 30 minutes for lunch. So what we did, I called up Orville's, and they donated a microwave for the school. So you have a lot of people out here who will donate. We just have to fill out the proper paperwork. But because the students said something they wanted, we typed up a letter, put little, blurb about the school, sent it to them. They were more than happy to donate. A lot of people will do that for schools. So just wanted you to understand that. And it's just some other things to know about your CET team. So this is just a resource for you. Any questions? Anything? Okay.
So really our first charge as a team is to get this needs assessment underway. I have some sample surveys that are already in your packets that were in front of you that we'll look at in a little bit. And here's some sample needs assessments if you just want to grab one to look at so we can just go. So this is the bulk of our meeting. It's really more of just kind of a work session to start looking at what we need to do and divvy up maybe some of the work so we can meet in a couple weeks. We're going to meet in 3 weeks now. Go back to the normal meeting time that you guys had established.
And what, we'll do that for later,
What's that?
the future meeting.
Yeah.
So you have, that's Monroe and school number 8, I believe. You have their samples. Just wanted you to look at them just to see the order. Do you have that needs assessment cheat sheet?
Yeah, it went around, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you see that needs assessment cheat sheet, we wanted to make sure that everybody had a document that showed them the steps. You know how we all like steps, right? I don't know if y'all like steps. And sometimes it's difficult when, you're a new community school, you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do here? What do I do there? So we wanted to make the transition a little easier, our department. And this cheat sheet is something that's from the National Coalition of Community Schools. And we just kind of modified it. I work along with Teleslat, who's excellent, and we work together. And we went through this document, and we actually started putting in links. That first one, step 1, those links are live. I gotta finish updating the other links. But it shows you step 1 getting started. This is the first step. You all are already doing great, CET team. You see the first part, begin your CET meetings, CET team meetings. So give yourselves a pat on the back. You're already doing a fabulous job. 16. You know, and really make sure that we understand what that CET team is. And then here, this cheat sheet I gave you, that's right there for you. Sample running agenda, you already have that. Doing a fabulous job. And then this is just a document here. It's called Building Your Team Worksheet, where if you want to look to see, you know, who all's on the team, well, already you have community members on your team already. But that's just a little form, say if you have to look to see who else do we need to be on there. That's a document you can look at, and then other CET sample agendas and notes. But the good thing about it with Mr. Burns is that, you know, he was able to sit down, look at other ones, and design you all's agenda. Him and Mr. Wingo, so we sat, you guys already have that. So again, you're doing a great job there. Then step 2, historical data review. That's basically, if you see in the sample ones there, where they went to, let me pull up one for you. I'll pull up this number 8 one. They just simply went and spawned Rock 3D, and they put in, you know, your historical data. Like, you know, everything from the last 3-4 years. They just copied that into there. And everyone goes in this particular order. You have your introduction, background, demographics. And some people add in other things in there. So you have your introduction. It's just the layout of it. And just wanted you to see how they go. Some have more information than others. Your vision, your mission, all that kind of stuff. And then you see your demographic data is there. All that information. It's stuff that you can easily go right and spell Rock 3D, take that out. But then you'll notice that in a lot of them, all of them, you also put the survey data in there. So you'll see the questions they use, all that stuff. And so each meeting, you know, the next time you have a meeting, you know, I'll definitely come to support. You maybe go through the different parts of that document. I won't, you know, bore you because there's so many of them we have, but they're really great examples. And you'll see that's step 2. Then step 3, your analysis of the surveys. Then your step 4, you know, it'll be, well, before that, your surveys here. You'll decide here, okay, what surveys, how do we want to get this data? Okay. Then you have your surveys. You're going to do parent survey, student survey, staff survey, like a staff climate survey. And you'll use all that information. That will help you with developing that needs assessment. And you'll come with recommendations as a team after analyzing that data. Those recommendations are what's going to drive your community school work. Seeing like, okay, what partnerships do we already have in place? What do we need? You know, what other practices here? That's basically it in a nutshell. Then you'll have stakeholder interviews, you know, after you do the surveys. And we'll, you know, walk you through everything that you have to do for that. So just wanted you to have that to look at it, and you know, if you all come up with questions in your next meetings. But you know, Mr. Burns, when we have our site coordinator meetings, we'll actually be training them and going through each step. And he's worked at our department for a long time, so he knows a lot of it already. So just wanted to make sure you all had that.
The nice thing is, too, that a lot of this work's already been done for. So the other schools have posted their surveys onto a site that I can get through, and I can pull them down. That's for the parents, the staff, and the students. So they're all Google surveys. They're quick and easy. Really, it's just kind of making it ours. And just coming into this school, it's, you know, trying to get a feel of where everybody is. So I was going to start with a parent survey. I was just going to take the staff and student surveys that already exist and kind of push those out and see where we are. And then if I have to do a survey again, we could do that. But looking at who our parents are, what their needs are, there are a couple sample surveys under the agenda packet. We took these from 2 other schools, and there's 2 totally different surveys. And I wanted to just have our team kind of look at these, look at some of the questions, and see if either one of these is something we just duplicate and send out, or, are there some other items that I think we need to look at and ask our parents here. So if you just want to take maybe 5 minutes to look at this quickly, and we'll go around and offer some feedback. I'm trying to find a way to get it online, or we have the robocall system. So that robocall also shoots out an email to anybody that has an email attached in the system. So if I could send the Google link through that email in the robo system, we're going to do that. Ms. Brown has agreed to call parents and take the survey with them on the phone, those that are sometimes hard to get a hold of. We have a math night tomorrow night, so, right? No, Thursday night. So I would try and get one situated for that, so we would have paper ones available right away. Maybe have a Chromebook or 2 set up so parents could take them online when they're right there.
I saw one of the schools, they put theirs on their website in the Google form. So, any parents could go on the website.
So, ideally, I need a platform to send a text message to everybody, and I think the robocall, we have that all situated. We can pop a link right in there. We can type it in, and then it'll shoot out as at least an email. I don't know if it sends a text as well.
It will.
Oh, nice.
Is there a way to find out who has email and who doesn't?
Yep.
An
it says
easy
it
way?
right there.
Well, I know, but you have to go through every student.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So I was thinking on the ones that don't, and we can send it home.
Right.
Yeah, you have to, when you populate all the kids, it'll tell you, like by their name. So it'll say Lee Wingo, and it'll have different icons. So it'll say mail, text, phone. And it has all of it across.
Anybody have any offer suggestions or feedback between the 2?
I think number 2 looks easier to read as far as the spacing. I mean, if it's just like a logistical thing, but I like the fact that school number 3 has the somewhat, so it's not just yes or no. I agree, I disagree, and that's it. It gives you kind of might say
Range.
Sometimes, you know what I mean? They might, if they work with different teachers, they don't want to just say no to all of them or yes to all of them. You want to, kind of gives you a little bit of a range.
And it's easy enough to just throw another block on the other side.
I don't know, I feel like Nathaniel Rochester's is more detailed than School 22's,
Right.
which in a way I like.
But is that a deterrent for parents to, you know what I mean, to sit there and fill it out for a long time? I like the back where it says, where can we help you with your academic needs? What can we do, kind of?
But you also, too, want to make sure that you have enough, because the last one, I was just at Wilson Foundation, and we were talking about the surveys. They had, one of the surveys they had already given the parents was like, basically yes, no. Then they looked at this sample one that we have from the 3 school, and we were talking about how we want to make sure that we're getting enough meat in there, because that's going to help with coming up with those recommendation questions. So we want to have more than just, yes, no. You want to have, something they have to fill out, maybe, I don't know if you do like a 1 to 4 or, different samples like that. But, that's a good thing about your team here. What you all are doing, that's exactly what you need to do is look to decide what you want to do.
I mean, that's what we do for teachers. It was like 1 through 5 on the scale when I did the needs assessment. Like, you're good at it or you need help, or vice versa, whichever way. And then it kind of puts them so that they're not, I don't know, if they don't understand it, they're not kind of throwing themselves out there and saying no. Just marking no for
Information
no
on the back of School 3s is really what's going to drive what community agencies, members, partners that we're going to need, not only for our students, but for their families.
I think I'm sorry. I think it's important, like I noticed 22 doesn't have a spot where they can make any comments. You know, sometimes things cannot be answered in a quick 1 through 5 even. They need to explain, and maybe we need to be able to read that explanation. So I think a comment spot somewhere, maybe all along the document, or is important.
You could, another thing, as far as getting stuff, was just something I was thinking about and saw in another school. You know how kids always like little competitions, right? Say if you have every grade level, okay, you come up with a goal, every grade level we're going to get 20 surveys done, right? You want to shoot for more, but whichever grade level gets the most done, maybe they get like a family basket or, a pizza party. Kids always like stuff like that.
Yeah.
You probably get Salvatore's to donate the pizza for free. Something quick and easy like that.
That's a great idea.
So, like, are these the type of things you think that our family members need from the school too? Like looking at the back of number 3? Like, is this just pretty common, we think, throughout the district that any additional things maybe that you've seen in the years from being here?
In item 6, housing is spelled wrong, unless we're training firemen.
See that.
Housing services.
I don't understand I need to drop off my child at another school.
Maybe if they have more than one child, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
right.
that happens a lot. Like
Say
when
another
kids come to pick
child.
them up.
Yeah.
Maybe
If
one's
they go
in
to
high
3
school
different
or
schools and
they're
then they
just
can't
split
get
up
here
throughout.
on time, because that was always an issue, like with dismissal and stuff.
Yeah.
That, you're supposed to be here at 3:25 and they're not here till 4 because they made 4 or 5 stops along the way to get other children, and then you're getting yelled at for not being here at 3:25. So
I mean, generally they're pretty good about siblings being housed at the same school, but if you have different grade levels, if it's a K-6 building, then, one moves up to 7, then
I knew of a woman who had 8 kids in 8 different schools.
wow.
Well, you get high school, middle school,
Right.
elementary school.
But still,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
So you can even put under 7 too if they're working. A lot of the time the parents are working either nights or something, and they get home and they fall asleep, and then the kids don't get up.
I think on any of these where you could check and say like healthcare, have a line to add information, add details to that, because that really doesn't tell you a whole lot.
Like,
I was thinking of that in terms of transportation. Lack of transportation. Does that mean no school buses? Does that mean we moved and the bus hasn't caught up to us?
right, so the one thing with transportation is they won't bus outside a certain distance.
We've been through all that
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah,
may
unless you
have
become an
started
expanded
cracking.
learning school.
Yeah, whatever you can do to document where the 1.5 mile busing requirement, is a hindrance. We've been pushing to get the district and the state to change that for ages, but it just hasn't really been happening, but we've got to try to pursue that. And it's with all the other issues they've got right now, they don't seem to be having too much time to tackle that one. But it's a killer for getting parent involvement in the schools if they live across town. It also tends to have kids going to several, from one family going to several schools,
Right.
because the district seems to be treat them more like widgets than let's get them in the nearby school where parents can be involved.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, I think for that one, the number 7 on the number three school, 7th item, almost have something ahead of that that says, how close do you live to the school? It's like one block, half a mile, mile and a half, something like that. Just to get some sense of where they're coming from. There was another one that got the map, right, John?
yeah. I don't know if I've got that with me, but I don't think so.
It'd be useful to get this data, Rob, which is where people live on a map of the city.
Oh, the asset map.
I don't know what it's called, but
I know, well, school 10 has a pretty good one there. If we could get
The
that for,
citywide one. That's also part of
Yeah,
this
there it is.
assessment is an asset map, looking at your assets, like your partners, but also the assets around here, because there was citywide school that had, number of
but every
different.
school is a citywide school here, by when you look at the population.
Mhm.
Not by design, it's just the way it worked out.
Right. Yeah, when we get into the asset mapping, I want to make sure we're not stepping on the toes of our surrounding schools either.
Oh, we will.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mhm.
stepping.
We're not very far apart.
No.
No, I know. But, I don't want to take away resources from them either,
Mhm.
so tap some new resources.
Oh, I see.
Unless it's something extravagant that,
So what we do, in community schools department, like here, how you all have, school 16 specific partnerships. What we're working on is finding some partnerships that we can use like in all the schools. For example, like, Hillside Health Homes. That's one that we already have an MOA for that one. And Teleslot, who I worked with, who I mentioned earlier, does a fabulous job at MOAs. And on the MOA for Hillside Health Homes, it has all the community schools listed. So if that's something you all wanted to, talk about or discuss, we just simply will set up a meeting with them. They will talk to you, and they can always come in because we already have the community schools listed on there. So, but we try to find what can we do. That's why I want to, come to the meetings to see how can we help your school.
in diving into what we have, it really isn't a lot right now. There's a lot of people that are approaching and things that are in motion, but everything needs to get solidified. And unfortunately, with the way the process is working, from what you've said, it's going to be probably next school year before we get in full swing with
sure.
a bunch of them, unless it's already established.
What's the situation as far as like dentistry, for instance? School 17 ended up building a facility there, but for a lot of our other schools here, as we have half a dozen schools in the area that are going to be community schools, is there a mobile van that goes
There is
around
a
the
Smile
school?
Mobile. I don't know if does it come here. Smile. You haven't seen it.
Hasn't, no.
And that's something where too, again, with your CET teams it's a way to be creative and innovative. So you can start to try to find, Smile Mobile may just simply be a phone call calling to see, since it goes to a lot of our schools in the district, that you might be able to get something like that here. If you don't already have a partnership, maybe that's one we look for next year, getting a partnership, Eastman Dental, or
Haven't seen
and there's some other places too that might be
Trailer.
willing,
There's
to
a
do
dentist in
that.
it, hygienist.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Pull kids out.
Where you been, Linda?
High school, they don't have
I'm
miles.
not, I'm not
yeah,
sure where
yeah,
we
high
would
school,
put the
they don't do
trailer over
that.
here.
No.
Usually it takes up, 5 parking spots.
Is it just for the day?
No, it's
Oh,
there
no.
for an
Couple days.
extended amount of time.
Like 6
Weeks.
weeks. There's 6 weeks, and they actually go in there.
They can clean
It's
the
through,
teeth.
yeah, it's through Eastman, and there's some kids that have to have extensive work done. It's through Eastman Dental, and they stay like 6 to 8 weeks.
Now, you've got some empty lots across posts there that we keep saying to the schools, empty lots near schools that may need more space might be worth getting a dibs on, but it may be something that you can work out with if those are city lots, that you might be able to park something there.
Right.
It would still mean that somebody's got to escort some kids across the street or.
Yeah, and you just put it right behind or right next to. I know when I was at school 5, they put it right in the parking lot. It always is usually in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's the ideal thing.
I mean, the way we use their bus loop here, we could put it in the front of the bus loop too, or the back of the bus loop.
I was thinking on the side if we could put it on the grass.
You could,
Where
yeah, you
on
could.
that far side, we have that big chunk of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
grass.
reach out.
Push it out on the kids' lawn.
So I think we look at what our needs assessment comes back at from our surveys, and that's what we build into one of our priorities to get moving. All right, so what I'll do is I'll put together a mock survey, probably tomorrow, send it out email to all of us. You get a quick second to take a look at it. I would love to use it Thursday night, since we'll have parents coming in right away and start getting some data back on that.
Yeah. Great.
Well, did we as a group have any preference between this 22 and 3 from a format standpoint or maybe from a question standpoint?
I prefer 3.
Yes, I would also.
I'll try and make it a little easier too. I'll try and use a similar information, at least on the check boxes. We'll probably get rid of no answer provided.
Are you doing it on a Google form?
Yeah, I've already copied these over and made them ours a little bit. I'm just kind of trying to see which pieces of information would be the best to ask.
And that's the parent survey? You're talking about- okay, I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like some of the student surveys are all pretty similar. You're looking for the climate aspect of the school and how they feel. And then how do we change that? And same thing with the teachers. It's a pretty general template. I'll also attach those to the email as well.
On attendance is an issue here right now. Do you have any data on, are these kids from nearby area or from across town that have the most problems?
So
I'm
we're
going to go to our
working on,
attendance guru over
we're
here.
working on that for the next state visit of exactly where our chronic absentee students live.
Mm-hmm.
So that will give us a better idea of what's going on. Are they neighborhood kids that are missing the majority of school, or is it random, or is it kids who live across town?
Or did they move?
Pardon? Or did
Or
they
did they
move?
move? And the system hadn't caught up to them yet.
No, we've identified those students. We only have 2 students on our books technically now that we know where they are, but we have not gotten confirmation that they're there. And when we say confirmation, we need school records. They will stay on our records until we get some type of school record that they've enrolled to, whatever school from the city they moved to. So we know they've moved, but we don't know like what school they're enrolled in.
Okay.
So and until they enroll into a school, they are ours until.
But I was talking about kids just who move within RCSD territory, not living somewhere else.
Right, so if they move within our system. Oh, you're saying, and that's the reason why they miss school?
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
like 30% of the kids move during the school year or something like that?
Yeah,
And how long does it take busing to catch up with them?
right. We haven't had that issue. We've had, our major issues so far has been transportation where, poverty, transportation, and then the shots, the immunization shots hit us pretty good with, students who could not attend school because of the shots. So it took them 5, 6, 7 days, to get into the doctor, to get the shots, to get back to school. And once you hit 7 days, so the school days now, so the overall number is 18. But once you hit 6 or 7, gives you over 10% absentee rate. And then as of right now, any student who's over 10% absent is, so if they miss 7 days as of today, then they are chronically absent. So they've only 7 days, they still have 11 for the total year. But, you know, that's 11 days that they cannot miss from now until June. So that's why we are under the mark as of now. But as long as we keep those kids in school, the more days we have, the higher their percentage will raise.
So all the flu shots would have been the first of the year, right?
In September, yeah. But, you know, so I have a kid who missed 5 days strictly because of the flu,
Yeah.
or not the flu shot, but the immunization shot.
Yeah.
So those are 5 days straight up, and they've missed only 3 days since, besides those 5. So they're 8 days absent. So they are chronically absent as of right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I wouldn't call that individual an attendance problem because they've missed 3 days all year.
Yeah, I see.
Now, I don't know, last summer we had Daisy Algren, who is she's the head of the neighborhood service centers in Rochester. And she came in to look at ways that the neighborhood service centers might be able to work with the school district to help perhaps cut down how long it takes to find out that a family has been evicted and that their children may need to be picked up somewhere else. If you, I think it was our July meeting of the Southwest Common Council, she came in and talked, and the video of that is online. But she'd be willing to work with the various schools to try to see how might the neighborhood service centers be able to assist, and also get some packets out to the teachers so that they know what they can recommend to parents if, you know, in terms of getting support from code violations or whatever, to make sure that the place they live is, you know, beneficial for the kids. So that's something that probably the school here should try to follow up on. There have been a lot of, with all the shortfalls of money in the district, things haven't gotten followed through as much as possible, but just be aware that she's willing to work with the schools. Okay. And you can give her a call, and I'll send you the link to that video where she came in and talked about what might be things that they could work with. Be nice to follow up with that and try to maximize resources, you know, that the city might be able to come up with. Not that they're exactly flush with cash either.
What's her name?
Daisy Algren.
Thank you. Before we look at
I think
Doing
it's
any-
Ian, maybe Algarin.
Yeah.
Algarin, I think.
Any future meeting dates? There's just some literature here for everybody. Receivership, frequently asked questions, the fundamentals of a community school, and then some.
Plus Delta.
So we're looking at 4:30, February 10th for the next meeting. Okay.
Plus, I like the mock.
Needs assessment.
The needs assessment. The sample,
it's
I
not
should say,
mock,
not
it's-
mock.
yeah,
Sample needs assessment for us to look at.
They're thorough.
The agenda is organized.
I would agree with the sample aspect about the surveys. To have something to go from.
My only delta would be more partners. Yeah, more.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some parents.
Yeah.
Are there students that we feel are mature enough that could be here, maybe with that parent that would join them?
Does Mrs. Michelle, is she still on anything? Noah's mom. But she doesn't want to come in because she's sick,
The
right?
one nice thing we have is we have Quad A here right now, so if that student does
Right.
belong to Quad A,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, they can still go back after the meeting and they have parent pickup too if we just have a random student with parent permission that they can join us.
I'm sure that we have some candidates that
For the
could
kids,
participate.
Ideally, I'm going to invite our site director for Quad A to join us too, since she's here in the building and sees things going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now they're taking in about a third of the kids. What's the breakdown of how many kids get into Quad A versus?
I don't think they're taking as many as they can, and that's based on the district canceling the transportation,
Mm-hmm.
right, to those programs. So really, the only kids that can go are the ones that can get picked up or live close enough to, you know, walk home.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not maximizing.
Yeah.
What they
She's
could
looking
do.
for more students, but the transportation piece is a big one. She says her enrollment has dropped because of the transportation. So
Now they're funded by what agency?
that's a great question.
So, at least to my knowledge, it used to be a district contract with Quad A. They also receive funding from United Way.
I'm not sure. I don't want to say it. I can find out and get back to
Yeah,
you.
we can definitely find
You know,
out.
it's just that, you know, it's a great, you'd like to see that
Yeah.
in every school, and you'd like to see the kids from the neighborhood being a lot
Yeah.
bigger portion of the school population so that you don't have to worry about
Right.
the busing kids as much.
Yeah, I mean, if they were busing, we'd fill them right up, I'm sure, no problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was like last year.
She said it was full last
Full.
year.
We'll say meeting adjourned for now.
Meeting adjourned.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for coming.
We wanted to-
Delighted to meet you.
Yes,
I need those needs assessments.
come back.
Okay,
Mr.
there you go. Thank you very much.